here are the invasion beaches over here on the east side.
Jack Jackson's very first combat mission in World War II was D-Day of the Normandy invasion, described by Winston Churchill as the most difficult and complicated military operation ever to take place.
Our group led the glider assault at 4 o'clock on the morning of D-Day.
It was 4 a.m. when Jackson flew his C-47 troop carrier into German-occupied France, towing a glider loaded with paratroopers and heavy artillery.
We had no inkling of what we were going into, and once you got over enemy territory and the skies over Normandy came alive with tracer bullets and flak and all, I was scared stiff. I don't deny that.
Slow and low is the way Jackson describes towing his heavy cargo at only 200 feet off the ground. In spite of obstacles and the bullet holes riddling his plane, Jackson's first drop was successful. The second glider he dropped later that day wasn't so lucky.
The glider I towed got a direct hit almost immediately after it released from my airplane, and nobody survived.
Jackson was to fly a third Normandy mission on D-Day 2, and in spite of the massive loss of life in the invasion, his worst experience was to come a few months later.
Our worst combat missions were the Holland operation, which was the subject of a bridge too far.
The purpose of the Market Garden operation, as it was called, was to capture the bridges across the Lower Rhine so Allied forces could cross. But the flights were primarily over enemy territory, and the enemy was prepared.
Our unit in particular got shot up pretty badly.
In Jackson's third Market Garden mission, the weather was so horrible the pilots couldn't see the gliders they were towing or the planes flying next to them.
We lost some airplanes from crashing into each other.
Weather was also a factor in the Battle of the Bulge.
We knew that our unit was surrounded there in Bastogne and could hold out only so long if they couldn't get reinforcements, and the weather at that time was just terrible, non-flyable.
By sheer courage and fortitude, Allied forces held out until Jackson and other pilots could fly in reinforcements. By the time Jack Jackson flew his last combat mission and the crossing of the Rhine, the war in Europe was about over. The dropping of atomic bombs on Japan saved him from further danger.
I'm proud of the job we did, and I think we certainly changed the course of history.
In Tyler for Freedom Fighters, Joan Hallmark, KLTV 7 News.